Hi, hello everyone. I am live on Instagram. It's very exciting. On the 26th of August, not September. I put in the post September and thankfully somebody noticed. But actually that's quite relevant really, because what I'm going to talk about today for about 15-20 minutes, I'm not going to keep you here long, but I just wanted to pop in and talk about the kind of wobbly feelings that a lot of us are sensing right now. Oh, and hi Jill, and hi, I can see a few people of you are joining in right now. Because yesterday, and before I actually go into it, it's really, I suppose, particularly relevant for the Northern Hemisphere, because of what I'm going to be talking about and the time of year that we're at. But I guess even in the Southern Hemisphere, you're kind of the opposite. So you're going from winter into spring, and it will be relevant. So if you're down in the Southern Hemisphere and watching this or listening to this, it is relevant. But it's just kind of flipping it on the other side because we're going from summer to autumn up here in the Northern Hemisphere. Hi Rose, hi Catherine. Hi people. And yeah, so yes, and yesterday it was really stormy. It was here anyway. I live in the northwest of England and it was really, really stormy. And I'm feeling more wobbly than usual anyway. And then yesterday I felt really wobbly with the storm, with the kind of stormy, the winds and the rain. Hi everyone. Hi Kim. Hi Jean. Hi. So I thought I had thought a lot yesterday about this phase and why a lot of us can feel even more wobbly than usual. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I have got some notes here. The reason why I try and stick to my notes is because if I don't, I will just talk and talk and talk. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. Becky Quick. I'm a clinical psychologist and the menopause psychologist. So I love to talk anything, all things psychology and perimenopause and menopause. But I guess specifically, I'm here to help you to break free from the anxiety that so many of us feel during perimenopause, and to help you enjoy life more and live a more through a kind of more mindful and meaningful menopause. So that's who I am, and as I say, I'm going to talk about why we're feeling more wobbly than usual at the moment. So there are loads of reasons why we experience anxiety during perimenopause and menopause, and I'm not going to talk about those today. I've done other videos, so if you're wanting to understand that, then go back through and watch other videos that I've done around that. So yeah, lots of us are feeling anxiety. We've all got our own unique situation and lots of things going on that might make our anxiety feel more acute right now. Lots of us, we've all got our own unique lives. So and I want you, when you're listening to what I'm talking about today, I want you to remember the kind of body wisdom rule, which is that I will be talking generally about my thoughts on this, but whatever you're feeling or whatever you're thinking and feeling, that's kind of trumps everything really. What I think is my role in a way is to give you frameworks of understanding, I guess, what's going on inside your mind and body, a kind of framework so that then you can work out what the heck's going on for you. So some of it may resonate and some of it may not, but that's okay. It just still helps you to kind of tune in, I think, into what's going on for you. So why is it that we might be feeling more wobbly than usual at the moment? Well, it is purely and simply down to the transition between seasons. So we are transitioning, as I say, in the Northern Hemisphere from summer to autumn. We're not in the height of summer anymore, and we're not fully into autumn. We're transitioning, and it's like a void. Alexandra Pope, who's one of the founders of Red School and one of my menstruality mentors, talks about transitions like this as almost like a rip in the fabric of life. And I think that's how it feels when we transition between seasons. So, I mean, all humans, men and women, but women particularly, we are cyclical creatures. We're cyclical. Obviously we have our menstrual cycles, but we are deeply attuned to cycles and to the seasons. And so this phase, the next sort of few weeks, because even though we're still in August, I don't know whether I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on this actually, because the change has started. I don't know if you can smell it in the air. I'm quite sensitive, I think, to these changes, and I can just sense it and I can smell it. Just the beginnings of the transition from summer into autumn, where we kind of almost, we're in this void. There's no kind of clear footing. We've almost got one foot in summer, one foot in autumn, and it's very, very disorientating actually. Our bodies can feel quite disorientated. Because transitions are difficult. So, and obviously I'm talking to you, and many of you will be in your 40s and experiencing perimenopause, which is, massive transition, heading towards menopause, which is the mother of all transitions. So we're in the kind of autumn, we're transitioning in from summer into autumn phase of our lives. And we're at that transition in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, seasonally. So there are lots of kind of cyclical reasons why we might feel super wobbly right now. And just to alert you to the fact that if you are still having a menstrual cycle, when you are at the transitions, maybe coming from, because we have inner seasons. I've done a video about this as well, the inner seasons of our menstrual cycle. So when we ovulate, so with menstruation, then at the other pole end, in a way, when we ovulate, sort of halfway through our cycle, and when we then transition from ovulation towards premenstruation, that's the kind of transition from summer into autumn that can be tricky. So when you're at that stage in your cycle and you're perimenopausal, because you're at that stage in your life, and then we're at this seasonal change, it's I guess I just want you to be aware that the wobbles might be there and you might be feeling voidy, or someone's just be mindful. Hi, absolutely, the change feels a bit heavier in the transition. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, it does. And I think that I also want to say that I think that the women that I'm connecting with, we are very, very sensitive. I think we're sensitive to those changes, and I think there's a real beauty in that. I think that women who do feel anxiety more are super sensitive, and that's actually a real a beautiful superpower. But we need to be aware of that and how to kind of support ourselves with that, really. So similarly with our menstrual cycle, when we have when we're transitioning from summer, from inner summer, so that's ovulation, into our premenstrual, what happens is the estrogen drops off. And estrogen is like the summer sun. It just makes everything, look fine, look lovely. It's kind of almost like this beautiful blanket over everything. And then so in terms of our our cyclical menstrual cycle, the estrogen drops off, and it's like the summer sun. And this is what's happening right now. The summer sun's kind of dropping off, and it's almost like our awareness of, it's not that things come up that weren't there before, but it's almost like we become more aware of crap, really. Become more aware of physical stuff around us. Oh God, that's really, dirty, mucky, the garden's not looking as good as it was, or our inner world, and we kind of become more acutely aware of things that we're struggling with. I just wanted to mention before I go on to what we can do to support ourselves. I saw this poem. I'm not going to read the whole poem, but just literally the first two lines, which I thought really sort of said it all. Really, the poem's called "End of Summer" by Stanley Kunitz, I think his name is. I haven't heard of him actually, but the first two lines of this poem says, "An agitation of the air, a perturbation of the light." And I think that, yeah, there is kind of this agitation. It's just kind of like, oh, this is just all a bit, can't quite get to grips with it. Like I say, these kind of wobbly feelings, and an increasing kind of anxiety with the transition. Like I said at the beginning, the reason I'm talking about this is because this is how I feel. You know, I only talk about things that I'm aware of, and I experience a lot of these things myself. There's nothing wrong with it at all. This is about being a human being, and I do feel, as many of you are aware, really passionate about sharing the kind of the inner world of a woman and the cyclical nature that we have. And so we are attuned to this, and this is good, this is human, this is normal. There's nothing wrong with it. And in that in itself, and the fact that there are so many of you here right now, I find it very reassuring that actually I'm not the only one that's just feeling all over the place at the moment. You know, a lot of us are, and it's very, very normal. And I guess the way to kind of support ourselves through it, ultimately really is about allowing it to be and trusting the unknown. It's like we can this phase, and it won't be for a long time. We'll get to the point. When will it be? When is it normally? Maybe end of September, where it feels really quite autumnal, and we're in autumn then, and it will feel a bit more solid. So it's this kind of this energy and the shifting of energy won't be for a long time, but it's actually a beautiful time to learn how to navigate across the void, and to kind of trust the kind of unknown, and surrender to that. However, to be able to do that, to be able to surrender and trust in the unknown, I guess psychology, has taught me, and what I know as well, I guess, from my own experience working with as a psychologist for so many years, is that to be able to cope and support ourselves with these wobbly feelings, we really need to increase the structure around us. I always see it really visually. It's almost like if you have structure, increase the structure, then the kind of wobbliness is kind of okay, and we can kind of be with that. Whereas if we haven't got the structure, it's just like blah. I'm hoping you know what I mean by that. So if we can, the more wobbly we feel, when we go through a transition, we need to increase the structure, because it just helps to regulate us a little bit so that we can kind of cope and kind of transition through. So yeah, increasing the structure, routine and rituals, I think, is a really helpful thing for you to do right now. I'm just kind of doing that myself, working out what that is. So one thing you can do in terms of increasing the structure is just look at the calendar over the next the rest of the year. Get a calendar out, or however you do that, and plan, and just kind of look at what's happening, put things in the diary. It doesn't matter if it changes in the future, but just kind of get a sense of the next few months and just kind of feel a bit more structured around that. It's a really good time, I think, to sort out a room or a cupboard, something that's just been like niggling you there, but it's not really mattered because it's been summer and it doesn't really, and now it's just like, actually it'd be really quite helpful to just have a little bit more order, and create some kind of mini rituals again. So anything to increase the structure of your life. And what I'm hoping that what I'm talking about here, I'm hoping that they seem really super simple. I want your feedback on that, actually, because the one thing that I know from my own experience and talking to so many women going through perimenopause and menopause is that we don't need extra big stuff to do. It's just small things that can actually make a big difference. So mini little rituals, even if it's just, okay, at tea time, I'm going to light a candle and I'm just going to remember to do that each day. And I'll tell you something I did actually this week. This is a bit random, but actually it's a really nice kind of cleaning, clearing, sorting thing. I actually downloaded an app that cleaned, apparently, my computer. It's called Clean My Mac. I think Clean My Mac. And it just means that my computer's working a lot quicker now. It was getting really sluggish. So that's very random. But it's just things like that, just kind of little things that can kind of give us a bit more structure and an organisation. So that's number one, creating structure, routine and rituals. Thanks. I think it's Pat. Totally get that. Brilliant. Structure anchors me. Yeah, it absolutely does. And I think that in summer we kind of forget about it a little bit. Someone once said to me, it's almost like summer's kind of like an amnesia. And it is in a summer, as in our menstrual cycles, we just kind of, we just get on with things and it seems all okay. And in the summer, seasonally as well. And then it's sort of like, okay, actually, no, I do need the structure. And some of us have got children going back to school. So, in a way, it's a bit like, oh, gosh, that structure is going to be imposed on us again. And I think even though it feels tricky potentially and also very exciting, dare I say, I think that routine and structure will help us. So number one, structure. The second one is that I think it would be really helpful to do right now around this is to make one simple change around your nutrition. Now, obviously, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm a psychologist. However, I just really know the impact, the interface between our psychology, our physical health and our mental health. And I think at this time of year, it's a really good chance and I'm talking about one change, I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm talking tiny. If you want to kind of do a whole big thing, that's amazing. But I can't do that. If I make one sort of tiny little change, sometimes it adds to another change and it just really helps. I just think we need to bolster our physical health right now as we transition through. Transitions are times where, like I say, we can be more wobbly and anxious and our immune systems can be affected. So something I've been thinking about and doing is doing a big batch cook session, just taking an afternoon out and batch cooking some really nice, healthy food to get in the freezer. Reducing or eliminating alcohol. That is a huge topic in itself around perimenopause and menopause. I can't tolerate alcohol anymore. And so if that's something that you're thinking about, this is a really good time to do this. And also Lindsay from Recovery Nutrition, she's on Instagram. She's amazing. She's a nutritionist, and she's actually about to start a 5-week course around about thriving, I guess, with nutrition in menopause, perimenopause and menopause, with a focus on reducing or eliminating alcohol. So if you're thinking about that, then look up Recovery Nutrition and have a think about her course. And then one other little change is that I'm suggesting. I'm obviously, as I say, I'm a psychologist, not a medical person or nutritionist, but starting to use a different milk. I'm not going to go into it, and obviously I don't know the ins and outs, but I've been reading a lot recently about the impact of cow's milk on us and around the histamines. Lara Bryden, who's a naturopathic doctor, I really like her website about this. So I've been reading up a lot about that. So just maybe changing the milk that you use. That's what I'm trying to do at the moment. And I also really love that Lara Brydon, it's called the Sensible Alternative Clinic. In Sydney. I just thought it was brilliant. The sensible alternative. It's like, yeah, let's have something sensible here. Anyway, so yeah, that's the second change. Nutrition, just making one change there within your nutrition to boost yourself. And then the third thing is practicing some grounding activities. Activities doesn't sound right actually. Sort of grounding techniques, things that you can do that help to ground you in the moment, because if we're transitioning and feeling wobbly, we need to sometimes just bring ourselves back to the present moment. And I've put together, it's not as of now at the end of August, you're not able to download it yet because I have literally did this morning, but by the beginning of September I'll put a link on my bio on Instagram, and it'll also be on my Facebook group, so you can download this guide. But I've basically put together, let me just show you, 2 sheets, 20 tips. What have I called it? 20 ways to ground yourself in the moment during a hormonal anxiety storm. So I've done 10 1-minute grounding things that you can do that take 1 minute. And then I've done 10 things that will take 5 minutes to ground you. So ground you, basically it means, bring you back to the present moment, and very much doing that through senses. So look here, what if I put... So one of them I've put here is around using smell to ground you in the present moment. And I've put when you're taking the washing out of the washing machine, this is what I do. And you may or may not like this. It's about testing. I put a little thing at the top actually about how to go about playing with this, experimenting, finding out what you like and don't like. But yeah, taking the washing out of the washing machine and smelling the wet washing, and with it being wet in particular, just gives an extra kind of boost to that sensory experience. So yeah, closing your eyes and smelling the fresh washing. I mean, literally, I'm talking about things in your daily life that you can just do that just grounds you, regulates your body. Every time you do that, you're reducing your anxiety, and it all adds up. Another one I put is, this is a really good one actually, standing against the wall with your hands flat on the wall and your feet away from the wall, and you basically push into the wall, you push against your hands. And this is all to do with, I learned about this years ago from occupational therapists actually, but this is all about it. It's a regulatory sensation that goes down your arms, and it regulates your sympathetic nervous system, which is all turned up for us in perimenopause. So it's a really good way to just ground yourself in the minute. I mean, obviously do that at home, maybe not out and about, although, who knows. So yeah, that was, and what else did I put? Turning on some music, closing your eyes and listening intently for 5 minutes, and maybe swaying. Because that's very rhythmic, and that really grounds us as well. Pat, you're an OT, brilliant. Well, you'll know all about that. Sensory feedback, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So that, what else was I going to say? So the final couple of things I was going to say were that the Liz Gilbert, I don't know if any of you know Liz Gilbert, but she's actually on Instagram as Elizabeth_Gilbert_writer, and she did a beautiful IGTV little video yesterday, and it's called Hummingbirds. It's on her IGTV, Elizabeth Gilbert writer, and it's beautiful. So I also want to just suggest that you go and look her up and just listen to that. It gave me such a sort of beautiful sense of joy listening to her and her story about this little hummingbird that came into her house. So that's really lovely. And the final thing to say is it's not happening until the end of November, but I will be running a course around breaking free from anxiety. So we'll be deep into autumn by then, so we'll have gone through this transition, and it's not that the anxiety is going to go away, but it's just at the moment it might be a little bit more intense. So yeah, in autumn proper, I'll be running a 6-week course, but you'll hear all about that. I'll be talking about that throughout September and October. So I hope that's been of some use. Let me know, put in the comments any kind of feedback. Let me just go through it again, the 3 things. So one is increasing a structure through routines and rituals. The second is a nutritional change. And the third is about practicing some grounding sort of techniques. So let me know how that's landed with you, and I will see you next time. All right, see you later. Bye.